Hi, welcome back to Crafty Little Things. I'm Andrea and I'm still talking about this fabulous sale that's going on with Stampin' Up. Buy 3 DSPs, get 1 free from a selection. I'm going to show you a project using one of those today, which is the Delightful Daisy series paper, which is £10. You can get 4 of those for 30 quid and they're double-sided, fabulous quality designs, as you'll see. Or you can mix and match and get different ones. Some of them are £9 a stack. Some of them are speciality papers, which are £11.50. There's some Christmas ones in there. There's some from the new autumn winter catalogue. So if you want to stock up on your festive bits and bobs, I've already done a video showing you how to make a Christmas cracker box using the Christmas Around the World designer series paper, which is one of the papers that's on the offer. And today I'm going to show you something using the Delightful Daisy series paper, which is a gorgeous set. In addition to that, to go with those papers, they're on offer between the 1st and the 31st of October. And between the 1st and the 10th of October, there's 15% off selected stamp sets which go with those papers, and also off note cards and envelopes, and also a special offer that if you buy 2 fast fuse adhesives you get 2 refills free, which is £14 savings. The fast fuse can be an acquired taste. It can get a little bit of getting used to, but it is really sticky, and it lasts a long time. You get quite a lot. I think you get 9 or 20 metres on the, you get 12 metres on the original and then 20 metres on the refill. So you're getting 64, you'd be getting 64 metres of adhesive, which should last you a long time and especially be great for those Christmas projects. It's good for boxes because it is really strong. So one of the sets here is the Daisy Delight, so I'm going to use that today to demonstrate a little project. Now what I've done with this project is it's quite a big project in terms of it needs lots of little bits doing. So I've started already and I'm going to do little elements of it on camera so I'm not boring you stupid. Yeah, it's World Card Making Day on the 7th of October, so this is why Stampin' Up! Are having this little offer. There's all the details and everything, all these flyers and everything are on craftylittlblog.com, and you can shop these things on my craftylittlethings.stampinup.net shop. There's links to that below, and there's links to that from my blog as well, and then obviously everything's linked from my main website, which is craftylittlethinguk.com. Lots of different places besides all the social media places where you can get in touch with me, so, and to get more information. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Daisy Delight stamp set, and I'm going to use the Daisy DSP to make a little box of thank you cards. Now I've already made 3 of the thank you cards. They're very simple, and what I've done is I've just taken a Whisper White base, which is 6x4, so you've got a 4x3 card. I've just scored it in the middle and burnished it. Then I printed, you can see probably down here where I was off printing, then I printed my own little DSP, which is quite cute, using this 2-stage stamping stamps here. So you stamp the detail and then you add the splodge of colour. You can be really precise with it, or you can do what I've done and just sort of be a bit more erratic, and it looks like it's sort of watercoloured, which is quite nice. Quite a nice effect. You can see on some of those I've been more precise and others have been a bit more erratic. Some I've used a stronger colour and some I've stamped off for. And I just stamped 4 colours. I took Peekaboo Peach, Lemon Lime Twist, Soft Sky and Sweet Sugar Plum, and I stamped those all over. Then I took the Daisy Punch, which is a good thing to go with this stamp set and DSP. And I punched out a white and a corresponding colour that corresponded to the inks. So I've got here Sweet Sugar Plum, Soft Sky, Lemon Lime Twist, and then I've got my Peekaboo Peach one here to show you. Then I stamped the same colour using this big stamp here. I stamped the same colour onto the cardstock, again somewhat erratically or precisely depending on how I felt, and then I also cut out daisies using the punch from white, and I stamped on in the same colour as I'd used before. So this is where I'm up to with this one. So I've stamped out that already, and I'm just going to punch this one out that I stamped. Just line the punch up. If you're having trouble lining the punch up, just trim some of your paper off the edge, which is what I'm going to have to do because I'm having trouble lining my punch up. But I would advise you not to I would advise you to leave yourself a little bit of paper for you to hold on to. Makes it easier to pull the image out, the paper out, once it's been stamped. So just line that up. Why won't it line up? Hang on a minute. I think I've got too much cardstock going on for it to... I don't know why it won't line up. There we go. So there always has to be a disaster or two, doesn't there? Oh wow, that was loud. And then what I did was I just stacked them using dimensionals. I just stacked them one on top of the other. So I just used a dimensional, stuck that on the white one, peeled it off, and then stuck the coloured one. I sort of moved it around to give a bit more of a full effect. And then in the centre, I just added one of these white perfect accents, which are great. They're really good at this time of year because they look very much like, you can make them look like... Do you know what? I have never had a problem getting one off before. There we go. Am I off camera? No, I'm not. Still on camera. So I've seen, these are really nice. They're pretty. They look a bit opaque-y. I've seen people colour them in, glitter them. They're very soft as well, they're quite tactile. So I cut these strips of DSP into 3/4 inch strips to stick along the side, and then I pop my flower on there, and then I use the thank you from the daisy set, and again I used the same colour piece of cardstock. I just cut 1 inch by 3 inches and then made the white piece a bit smaller, and again using dimensionals I'm just going to stick that on. Just going to use a little bit of Tombow to stick this strip on. Just put some Tombow up the edge of my paper. I'm not going to dwell too long on this. I mean, if you want to see me stamping paper and things like that, then let me know and I'll make a video of me stamping paper. But I will do that at one point anyway. And then just stick it on anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but you know, stick it on. Put some more dimensionals on. I should have put the dimensionals on before I started the demonstration, but... And I'm just going to stick that on to give it a little bit of a frame. More dimensionals on the back, 2 or 3 on the back. Dimensionals are very sticky. You do get a little bit of leeway though to reposition, and then just pop that on there. And there we have that little matching set of 4 thank you cards. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little box for them. Now I'm going to go totally different. I'm going to use the yellow. I mean, when I think about it, I should have maybe used one of the colours that I've used, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. Oops, I've got dimensional stuck to my elbow. And I'm going to use the reverse side of this pretty paper. This pretty daisy paper. Or shall I use? No, I'm going to use this side, I think. So that's the stamp set. Oops, my scissors just fell off. That's my stamp set done for now. Better grab these before the dog does. He thinks anything that's thrown on the floor is for him. So, well, we're having a bit of disaster already. I've already jabbed myself in the face with a metal ruler just there, but yeah, never mind. You never saw it, so it never happened. So, right, I'm going to make a little box to pop these in. I don't know what the box is going to be like. I haven't thought yet. So we're going to have, there needs to be, it's 4 by 3, so the box needs to be 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So if I get my little planning pen out, pencil. So our box needs to be, I don't know if you can see this, but say 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So if I make it just a flip top box going that way, just like a book fold box, probably about 1 inch deep I'd do it, yeah. So then it needs to be by 1 inch, so 1 inch. So 3 1/4. Right, so I need 3 1/4 and then another inch here. So that needs to be 5 1/4, the measurement along that side. And then this side, it needs to be 4 1/4. We need 2 4 1/4, so that's 8 1/2. And then 1, 2, 3 inches. So it needs to be 11 1/2 by 5 1/4, I think. I might be wrong. Some of you more experienced card makers are probably sitting there going, no, 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 you don't need 11 1/2, but 8 1/2, 9, 10, 11 1/2, yeah, 11 1/2. So I'm going to cut 11 1/2 by 5 1/4. So let's go for it. By 5 1/4. So there's our outer box, and then I'm going to use this to line, to put on the top and to line on the inside. So our box is going to measure 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I need sort of a 2 4 by 3 pieces. So 4 by 3. I do like the other side as well though. Maybe I should stack it up and use that as well. 4 by 3. On the top, and then I need 3 pieces that are 1 inch by, well, that are 3/4 of an inch by 2 1/2. So 3/4 of an inch by 2 1/2. So if I go this way, 3/4 of an inch, and again 3/4 of an inch. That might just be big enough. By 2 1/2. seems pretty small, that. But we'll go 2 3/4. 2 3/4. And these are just going to go around the edges of the box. You can see how my planning and thought processes work. If you don't understand what I'm doing, then I'll do another video on how to get your box measurements right. So these pieces of DSP can just go to the side for now. And then you need your scoreboard. So on the long side, remember the long side is going to be our narrower side, 3 1/4. So we need to score at 1 inch and 4 1/4. And that gives us the inches to make the sides of the box, and our box is 3 1/4, which is wide enough for our cards. So on the short side that was. Now and this is the long side. On the long side, we need an inch, which is the front of our box. Then we need 4 1/4 inches, so we need to add an extra inch because we've used an inch. So 5 1/4, that's the bottom of our box, so that will go like, the cards will fit like that. Then an inch for the back of the box, which is 6 1/4, and then we need another 4 1/4 for the top of the box, which will take us to 10 1/2, and then an inch to fold the box down. You can make it smaller if you want your flap to be smaller. And this is just a really simple, easy fold box. And that's the scoring done. Simple as that. So we'll get that out of the way. You're alright, dog's having a little nap. So, and then these pieces of DSP are going to fit, right, imagine this is the inside bottom. So I'm going to put, maybe I'll put that one on the inside bottom, use that side, and then this is going to be the front of the box, the back of the box, and the lid of the box. So that'll go on the top there. And then these pieces will go around the side. Yeah, I did make them too short. I thought it was a bit short. I might not bother putting them around the side. I might just put that one on the front. I forgot that our sides were longer. Yeah, well. So, burnish these. I'm going to burnish my outsides first, my outsides. Do you know, I don't even know if I started recording or not. And oh yeah, I did. Thank goodness for that. So, quickly do this. This is not rocket science. You'll see me make this sort of box quite a lot because it's really simple, easy. It doesn't use tons of cardstock and it's no fuss. So this is going to be the bottom of my box. So can't find my small scissors. So I'm just going to cut up this score line and this score line, and then that will fold in to make and glue there to make the bottom of my box. So I'm going to cut this score line and this score line, because then that frees up a flap to make that part of my box. Can you see? This score line and this score line again, so that makes the bottom of my box, and then this is going to be my lid. And so I'm going to do what I did at the other end. I'm going to notch in. I'm going to cut in along that score line, and that'll make my lid. Now, if you're measuring, cutting, scoring, burnishing is all perfect, you shouldn't need to notch in, but notching in is where you just trim off a little bit of the flap, and that it just gives you a tidier finish. Sometimes it just, if you're doing something that's quite bulky, it can give you just you know, it just make it life easier for you to get a good finish or a good corner. You don't always need to do it, but if you want to, that's up to you. The jury's out. Some people swear by notching and some never do it. It can look a bit tidier though. Right, so this is going to be the bottom of the box, I think. So I'm going to just use this leafy pattern on the bottom. Put a bit of Tombow on, and let me get rid of those scissors out of the way. And oops, sorry, whacked the stand there, tripod. That's a really nice paper, I like that. It goes quite nice with the Daffodil Delight as well. And then I'm going to use this other side on the front. This paper's a little bit distressed. Quite a lot of the Stampin' Up papers in this current catalogue are distressed. Some people like it, some people don't. If you're making, well, I would have thought if you were making identical things, it would matter, but in actual fact it doesn't really matter. I think I've left it a bit long. I've never got that quite straight, but never mind, it's just because I'm on camera. So then I'm just going to put some glue on all the tabs on the outside. Thought I'd done that wrong then. So then I'm just going to fold up and get that nice and square, and then squeeze it 5 seconds. Get that adhesive spread out around that tab with your squeeze, so you get a nice, good, strong finish. Sorry, those tabs need to come up to make your box, to finish your box bottom off. I should have burnished that the other way really. It's not going to matter in a minute, it's just, it might have helped. If you do get a little bit of an overlap, it's quite easy just to, which you wouldn't get if you'd have notched in. It's quite easy, just get your scissors and just trim off to get a nice finish. But if you're notching, if everything's really precise, it shouldn't happen. The trouble is with me, I'm working, like, I'm making this up as I go along, so this would be like my prototype really. I'm not going to bother trimming both sides, just that side could do the little trim. And then that's it, that's the box, and that closes quite snugly like that. You can, like I say, it would look nice with a bit of trim down the side. So just make sure you make it the right size, that's all. And then the cards fit nicely inside. It's a little box of thank you cards. And what you can do on the top, if you want, is you can stick another daisy, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ribbon. Just excuse me when I find the perfect one. Yeah. I'm going to take this Daffodil Delight ribbon and I'm going to tie it around my box. Just to finish it off. I haven't really cut enough, so I'm going to do the other way. The other thing you can do is just where the box opens, is you can just notch in a little bit. You can cut it in with a hole punch. If you've got an inch hole punch, you just make a little thumb hole. so it's easy to lift up. There we go. Put a little bow on. It's not very straight, but you get the idea anyway. And there we are, a little box of Notelets. It's gorgeous. That was the Daffodil Delight stitch ribbon. Anyway, I will share all the links to everything, and there will be a blog post with all the links on as well. And that's how you make your little box of cards. And thanks for bearing with me that I was making that as I went along. And that'll make a nice little gift. You could put another little layer in there. You could put another layer of paper on the top. You could stick some more cutouts on the top if you wanted to. You could do all sorts of things. But that's just the basic design for you there, so that you know how to sort of get a box to match up to the size of your cards. There we go. That's a nice little gift to give to somebody, or a little thing to sell at a craft fair. Yeah, so everything's on my blog, which is www.craftylittleblog.com. And also don't forget those special offers. So this DSP is on offer, and so is this stamp set. 15% off the stamp set. And like you can see, I've used it quite a lot. I've used these and I've used that, but there's still more yet. I'll use the sentiment as well. And of course the sentiment can go with anything. You mix and match them with anything you like. So hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that it was useful and that it showed you how to sort of measure the size of your box to fit your cards. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with another project.